He was a man of courage, honor, and sacrifice, one of Serbia's most beloved heroes, the Chetnik commander who gave everything for the freedom of the Serbian people. Vojvoda Vuk, born Vojin Popović, was one of Serbia's most famous military commanders of the early 20th century. A fearless soldier, a Chetnik leader, and a hero of the Balkan Wars and World War I. His story is one of courage, loyalty, and ultimate sacrifice. Early life and family. Vojin Popović was born December 9th, 1881, to father Aleksa and mother Stana, in the town of Sjenica, which at that time was still under Ottoman rule. He came from a modest Serbian family with deep patriotic roots. From an early age, he showed signs of discipline, intelligence, and a strong sense of justice, qualities that would define his life. His family, like many in that era, valued faith and national identity. Vojin grew up listening to stories about Serbia's medieval heroes and uprisings against the Turks, which filled him with pride and a desire to serve his people. The family moved to Kragujevac in Serbia after Vojin's father managed to escape from prison after a fire at the Pasha's residence, which the Turks blamed on the Serbs. All prominent Serbs in Sjenica were arrested, flogged, and tortured in various ways. This event had the greatest impact on Vojin, who himself stated, "I would have been more gentle in battle if the image of my father, Golgothic and terrible, as he was tied up and tortured by the Turks, did not hover before my eyes every day and night. May they go to hell." While Vojin was a boy, the Chetnik Duke Mitsko Krstić, who had fought against the Turks in Macedonia, moved to Kragujevac. His stories had a decisive influence on Vojin's decision to join the military and devote himself to the development of the Chetnik movement in Old Serbia. Education and entry into the military. After finishing his basic education, Vojin attended the Serbian Military Academy in Belgrade. He graduated November 3rd, 1901, and became a second lieutenant. He joined the army during a turbulent time. Serbia was modernizing and preparing for the challenges that would soon come. The country's ambitions for national unification and independence would soon shape Vojin's destiny. In 1903, after the May coup, when King Alexander Obrenović was overthrown, Serbia entered a new era, and Vuk became one of the young officers shaping its future. But he was never a man made for politics. He wanted to be on the battlefield, fighting for freedom. The Chetnik movement. In the 1890s, the Serbian Chetnik organization was formed. Its purpose was to send volunteer guerrilla fighters, called Chetniks, into Ottoman-controlled Macedonia and Kosovo, to defend the Serbian population there from Turkish, Albanian, and Bulgarian raids. Vojin Popović joined this movement in 1905, driven by patriotism and the belief that Serbia had a duty to protect its people across the border. He participated in the battles against the Turks at Čelopek and Kozjak. He quickly became known for his bravery and leadership in the field. During his campaigns, he earned the respect of his comrades and the nickname Vuk, meaning the wolf. It reflected his fearless nature and his ability to strike swiftly and effectively in battle. Soon, he was given the title Vojvoda, which means commander or duke. Under this title, Vojvoda Vuk became one of the best-known Chetnik leaders of his generation. He was admired not only for his courage, but also for his discipline and fairness. Vuk particularly insisted on discipline, claiming that it strengthens morale, but even more so on the integrity of his soldiers. His famous order was, "So, I ask my Chetniks to never lie to me. Don't even joke about stealing anything. Don't ask these poor people to cook or bake something for you to eat without my permission. Everything that is taken for the company, I must know and it must be paid for. Every order of mine must be carried out without thinking. I will not talk to you about courage, because as soon as you are here, I know what you are like in that regard. Anyone who slips up and embarrasses themselves, know that it won't go well for you. You must not argue amongst yourselves, scold or complain to me. And the most important thing, and remember it well, you must not even look at women and adult girls. You must not even talk to them. Do you understand? You are dumb to the female kind. If women ask you anything, do not answer, and you have no need to ask them anything. There is always a man, so turn to him. For whoever I notice or find out doing anything contrary to this, I will kill him. That's all for you. I hate to repeat myself, so when a new Chetnik comes, you should acquaint him with what I said. One of his soldiers testified that the Duke never bent down when a bullet whizzed past his head, and when one of us would bend our heads, he knew how to rebuke us, briefly and clearly. Why are you bending down? You are not an apple that the Turks are shooting at you. The Balkan Wars, 1912 to 1913. When the First Balkan War broke out in 1912, Vojvoda Vuk joined the fight as a commander of volunteer units. His troops helped liberate territories in Old Serbia and Macedonia, defeating Ottoman forces and freeing Serbian villages. In the Second Balkan War of 1913, he fought against Bulgaria, again showing remarkable bravery. His leadership earned him several military decorations and further cemented his reputation as one of Serbia's most capable and respected officers. World War I. When World War I began in 1914, Serbia was once again under threat, this time from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Vojvoda Vuk took command of volunteer detachments and participated in some of the war's most crucial battles. His Chetnik detachment helped the Danube Division in World War I to hold the front in Machva. As commander of the Jadran Chetnik detachment, he participated in the Battle of Tser. His first task was to slow down the movement of the 8th Austrian Corps, which they did successfully given that the Austrian commander reported the 8th Corps, at the point of exhaustion, arrived on August 13th, only in the evening, near Novo Selo, and it was supposed to arrive on August 12th in the morning. I encountered resistance from the Komitas, the Chetniks, who appeared like lightning and disappeared just as quickly. That day, Duke Vuk issued the order, "The enemy on our part of the front must not rest." In the following days, hand-to-hand battles with bayonets, knives and spades were frequent, and the Duke personally led his Chetniks, the oldest of whom were in their early 30s. His own brother also fought alongside him. When, after driving the enemy across the Drina River, he called on the captured Serbs from Austro-Hungary to join his detachment, their lack of interest so enraged him that with his left hand he tore off the ear of one of the rebelling Serbs. Battles at Gučevo, Mačkov Kamen and Kolubara followed. He was seriously wounded in the Battle of Ada Kurjačica on 20th September 1914. He was transferred to a hospital in Aleksinac, where he recovered from his wounds. In 1915, the Supreme Command formed 2 volunteer battalions of 4,000 soldiers each, commanded by Vojvoda Vuk and Vojislav Tankosić. Vuk's detachment included volunteers who had traveled from the USA and Canada thanks to the engagement of Mihailo Pupin and Vladika Nikolai. Many of them had never set foot in Serbia before. After the death of Vojislav Tankosić, his volunteers joined the battalion of Duke Vuk. As the Central Powers advanced in 1915, the Serbian army was forced to retreat across the mountains of Albania during one of the harshest winters in history. Together with the Serbian army, he retreated across Albania, and when the Salonika front was opened, he was the commander of the volunteer detachment on the Salonika front. Meanwhile, after the army had recovered in Corfu, a story about responsibility for the collapse and disaster began. The targets were the representatives of the authorities who most feared Apis and the other members of the Black Hand. Knowing that Apis' strength lay in the officers who were loyal to him, Duke Vuk, as well as the other Black Hand members, were given tasks that could only be described as being sent to their death. However, Vuk successfully carried them out. When the Salonika front was formed, the first detachment to go to battle was Vojvoda Vuk's detachment. The fighting lasted every day. Often the Chetniks attacked a well-fortified machine gun with bombs, while the night brought knife fights. In the Battle of Kajmakchalan, the Chetniks played a decisive role because in the absence of wire cutters, they tore down the wire fences with their bare hands in a decisive attack. The losses were heavy, that is, a third of the detachment was out of action. Death and legacy. In November 1916, on the mountain Staravinski Vis, near the village of Grunište, Vojvoda Vuk was mortally wounded. He was only 35 years old when he died. According to the testimony of Commander Milorad Milosavljević Burda, already wounded in the left arm, Vuk went down to cover to have his wound bandaged, when a second bullet hit him from the right side, straight into the heart. His volunteer detachment had 2,200 men at the beginning of the Salonika offensive, and by the end of Vuk's death, it had dropped to only 450 men. This was also the death of his detachment. The surviving soldiers of the volunteer detachment were transferred to other regiments. The hill was conquered and the Bulgarians expelled. When he died, he held the rank of an infantry lieutenant colonel in the Serbian army. At the time, people were even quoted as saying that it was as if Serbia had died with him. Vuk was awarded the Order of the Star of Karađorđe, Serbia's highest military honor, in recognition of his service and heroism. His body was buried at the Serbian military cemetery in Zejtinlik, and at the end of September 1923 it was transferred to the new cemetery in Belgrade. There is a monument to Duke Vuk located in Belgrade, in the park of Topličin Venac. It was sculpted by Đorđe Jovanović in 1922, but it was only erected in 1936. Thanks for listening to the video. Please subscribe and hit the bell. And if you have any more information or any questions, please leave a comment. If you have any suggestions on who I should cover next, also leave a comment. And head down to the description. There's going to be different ways that you can support the channel if you'd like. See you in the next video.